Welcome, welcome, welcome.
It's Gareth time. Lord calm.
Hey, Robbie, welcome. Smokey the Blair, welcome. Wayne, the Maestro, Robertson.
It's a great comment, Jeff. Looks like I actually walked to a different room to do the demo jam. I was debating about. I just didn't have time to do it. I should have. I was debating about changing this painting out between talks.
So that would have made you the coolest person alive.
Yeah, it'd be a different painting.
Painting the wall.
That would be awesome. How's it going?
That's way better than virtual backgrounds.
It's reality backgrounds.
You would have really impressed me if you would have changed the shutters. I think that would have been something. Would have been something. All right, people.
Actually, I like the other comment about changing my jacket. That's a callback to Salt Air.
We had a guy do that in some of the sales orientations too.
Yeah.
We were supposed to count how many costume changes he had throughout the week.
So,
see, I think this is an unfair competition because Patrick Moffitt's beard is better than everybody's.
I gave myself a haircut the other night too. I should have done is I should have waited for this and then just spend 10 minutes cutting my hair in front of everybody.
I'm only 4 days into my no shave November.
See, that's your idea for next year, Patrick, is a salt controlled razor.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on, Phil.
We had to let Jeff in, even though he's not in the demo jam.
Patrick's beard is awesome, but I had to be on since you said that.
Yeah, that's completely valid. I'm okay with that.
That's
actually,
it. I'm out.
I think yours is much fuller. So if you let it go for 2 years, you're gonna be able to make liftoff or something with it. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It's definitely curlier than I was expecting. I was expecting it to be more straight, but
My daughter was trying to tell me to perm my beard, and I said it grows that way. Right? So,
maybe all the guys that have beards, we could hide little VMware logos in them, and then that could be a contest for next year. Is spot the logo.
Figure out exactly where. Have to make people watch long enough to take screenshots and identify exactly where they are.
Who's who?
Circle it in MS Paint.
Hey Chunga, how do I drop out again now that how do I not
just hit
leave at the top?
Just hit leave.
Hit leave? Okay.
Hit the leave button.
Just leave, Jeff.
You can't, Jeff.
Just stay in. He'll still be there.
get out. Oh, good.
All that facial hair is like Duck Dynasty.
I was going to say, when it comes to beards, you will all know when I have decided to write a programming language and that I've made progress because a beard will be here.
I mean, I just did it as a job security thing. I knew that we were moving over to VMware, and I needed to be able to convince everybody that I knew what I was doing. I have no credentials
nothing
whatsoever.
does that like a beard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. And then you have guys like Rob Robertson, who everyone was afraid to moderate Rob's labs because of his immense knowledge of salt. And look at him; he's just
out of all of these guys in here, I'm the youngest when it comes to salt.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, we should probably go through and introduce everybody quickly.
I don't know if that's true, Rob. I mean, you probably beat me by 3 or 4 months, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, okay, Chris. We'll give you that.
I wonder if it's because let's start with welcoming everybody here. Hey, we've got a pretty good chunk of people hopping into the demo jam here. Welcome. This is what is without question the most popular session that we do here at SaltConf. It's much more casual. It's much more, as you can tell, Tom's wandering off. It's a much more casual way for us to do our stuff here at SaltConf.
So
Tom and I, yeah, right. I was impressed, and they were nice ones too.
Yeah.
Sorry, what? What's going on?
Oh, nothing, Tom. You just don't mind us. So Tom and I are the hosts of the demo jam. Let me introduce Thomas Hatch, the inventor of Salt, the creator of Salt Project. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. He is our Flynn from the world of Tron. That is one Thomas Hatch. Right there.
It is Tom's fault that we are all here right now.
Yep, it's my fault. And like Flynn from Tron, I've been trapped in here for a while.
Does that make
He's done a lot of presentations. He's done an awful lot of presentations over the past couple of days, and I for one am very grateful, Tom. Thank you very much for doing that. So, all right. So here's the way this is going to work. I'm actually going to try and create a poll while you guys are doing the demo jam, and I'm going to let people vote on what is the best demo. I don't know where Tyler is. We're supposed to have Tyler here to do one of the demo jams. I'm afraid he's just wandered off into a park somewhere. So I'll tell you what, here's what I'm going to do. Maybe we can, actually, Jeff Blair, Smokey the Blair, would you mind pinging him since you're not on camera? And we'll go ahead and get started and see if we can't get Tyler to show up. My favorite moment of last year's SaltConf was me reaching out to Tyler and saying, hey, are you ready for the demo jam? It's going to be starting in a couple hours. And he goes, what's a demo jam? after we asked him to be in it.
Did CR back out?
Oh, CR is supposed to be here as well.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
let's get CR on the see if we can find him too.
I'm really looking forward to CR's demo.
We don't have a complete
I was just talking
bunch
to him.
lineup.
I'm sorry, Gareth, I just stomped on you. What'd you say?
Oh, it's all right. I just say we don't have a complete Brady Bunch lineup.
Yeah, but close. Close. All right, let me ping him really fast.
And just get,
Is CR a guy that I can say, dude, demo?
Position.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Gareth. My bad.
Yeah, Miss Phil.
You let him talk and then he cuts out anyway. You should just
Now you're cutting out.
Run right over him.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, Gareth. We lost you through that whole thing, and it wasn't my fault this time. Oh man, that's going to be a thing for his demo jam. So we've already kind of written Gareth off as the loser.
Our demo is, the rest of us are going to have to try to decode what Gareth is saying, and then do what we spend our time on.
There we go. Ladies and
CR's on
gentlemen,
his
welcome.
way. Should we initialize?
Yeah, let's get going here.
Should we demo assemble?
Yeah, so here we have almost all of our competitors. We have Rob Robertson, who we've talked about, Chris McClanahan, who is Chris, give us your title really quick. We'll just go around the room really fast so people know who you guys are.
Well, so I guess my official title is Director of Automation Technical Marketing. I pretty much do whatever Tom and Purnima say to do. So that would be my official job function of the title really means nothing.
I gotta remember that. I'm on the list.
Yeah, it's added on there.
That's right, write that down for later.
McClanahan.
That's kind of what a lot of us do here, though, is basically what Tom and Purnima tells us to do.
Yeah, I mean
that's very true. All right, Chris, thanks. We'll move quickly here. Ladies and gentlemen, the man with the mighty beard, J. Patrick Moffitt. Tell everybody, he's been a great moderator. Round of applause for Patrick. Many of you have seen him as a session moderator throughout this SaltConf. What do you do for VMware, Patrick?
You guys have titles? I just kind of showed up, and they were like, "We need somebody to run interference in these sessions so that they don't feel so empty." But no, I am a senior solutions engineer. Not sure what the senior part is about, but I started with Salt in 2018. I was the lone dedicated customer success engineer for the IBM Cloud Network use case. I moved over into solutions engineering and then into VMware, and now I'm doing this.
And he's still alive after the IBM thing.
And he's still alive, ladies and gentlemen. There he is. Rob Robertson, what do you do, sir?
So my new title over here is a senior member of technical staff, and we work with Salt, worked with Chris's team quite a bit. And I came on with SaltStack in 2019. And before that, a previous life, I was in academia, where I think I initially met Mr. Hatch next door. So
Well, that's what I was
Rob
going
was one
to
of my
say.
professors in school.
yeah,
Oh, how the tables have turned.
that's right. The student has become the master.
So all of this is Rob's fault. All of it.
He taught me many things.
Glad to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, Philip Calm. Tell us what you do, Philip.
I am a content developer on the for the SecOps product. That's
All right.
That's all I do.
Fantastic. Gareth Greenway, or as I like to call him, the coolest man in any room.
That's right. That's on the business card. So yeah, I'm Gareth. I am a member of the Open team. So I'm one of the maintainers of the Open project. I was a community contributor for, I don't know, 3 years before. I was a member of the team at SaltStack and was one of the fortunate few that was brought over with the acquisition. So I've always, I finally reached in my career my dream job. I get to work with open source software on a daily basis, work with an awesome community, and just work with a great team of individuals. So just happy to be here.
Very good. I'm really proud to introduce this cat. In a previous life, I came out of the music and radio and entertainment industry, and I've spent time with many, many different rock stars, and none of them looked as cool as Tyler Johnson. Not one of them. Hey, this guy would be sitting in a room with Guns N' Roses, and Tyler would get all the attention. He's our resident item guru. Tyler, why don't you tell everybody what you do here?
Well, hard to follow that up. I'll start off with, I first used Salts when I was a Linux systems administrator in college, and since being at Salt, I've done a lot of things with the cloud, and now in Item, I'm currently on the Item team as MTS3 is the job title, but yeah, currently working on the Item team and working full time to develop Item and the multi-cloud strategies in VMware.
Awesome, thank you. And then not because he was the last one to jump in, but because I like to save the best for last, ladies and gentlemen, CR Oldham.
Hi there. I am CR. I have been with Salt since almost the beginning in 2013, and I left for a short hiatus, which we don't talk about that. But what matters is that I came back.
It never happened.
You brought it up.
CR actually left to run Fight Club.
Yeah, that's why we don't talk about it.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
And I work on the back end of the enterprise product right now, which now is called vRealize SaltStack Config.
So thank you very much to all of you. Tom, tell me about Demo Jam. Is this something that we've done at every SaltConf since the beginning, or is this a fairly new thing?
No, this is new. This is definitely new. We started this last year. This was actually inspired a little bit by something that they do at SUSECon called Demopalooza. A few years ago, Salt was featured quite heavily in the SUSE Demopalooza, and we thought that it'd be a good idea that we also did some demos. But so I guess the big question I've got is, who goes first?
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards the one that came in last.
Oh
right?
dear.
I mean, that's who I think needs to go first.
So you were taking
so-
You go by seniority. That's what you get for announcing your newness.
Yeah. See, there you go. Actually, do we have any volunteers? Yeah, that's a good idea, Tom. Does anybody want to go first? If not, it'll be CR.
But here's the deal. I'm the marketing person. So, I think you always go with the worst goes first. So I'll go first. because all your guys' stuff is going to be like 10 times better than my stuff. So
I don't know about that. Okay, real quick, for those of you that are just hopping in, these guys are all competing against each other, every single one of them. I'm going to try and rig up a poll here in the chat function and let you all vote. We do have a prize that we are giving away to the winner, so that you know there is prizes and possibly cash. And by the cash thing, just know I'm totally lying. But there is a prize that will be attributed to all of you. So okay, let's get it underway. Big round of applause for Chris McClanahan.
Hey,
and if you like Chris's thing, once I get the polling up, we'll vote.
Okay, and so one more thing before we start, I've got to do a let's get ready to demo, or let's get ready to rumble. So let's get ready to demo.
I feel like I need a heavyweight belt, like throw it over my shoulder.
And then Tom's got the gong back there somewhere too.
I just.
Oh, do you still have the gong?
I should have brought that in for the whole thing.
All right. So I'm going to jump in here, and then Chung, what we said, like 5 or 6 minutes, or 7 or 8, or what is this? Am I on a timer? I'm on the clock. So anyway, I'll just jump in. How about that? Good. All right. So I'm going to show today just to really, obviously what I do is all around VRA, and obviously when we dropped Salt in here, it was like we all salivated, and everybody on my team wanted to know who gets to manage it. Vincent, who some of you guys may have seen sessions on, he gets to do it, but I get to do all the fun play around stuff. So we're talking about all the stuff around shifting left and how do we make it easier for like our administrators to bring security into the fold, right? And so in this one, we created some pipelines through CodeStream that interact with Salt and the SecOps, Salt API and SecOps, to bring all of this into an automated fashion around vulnerability and security. And then also what we're going to do here is build a nice little web page that gets deployed, obviously using Salt and configuration and all that stuff. And then we're going to run and we're going to secure it. And then we're going to hack it. And we're going to hope that Chris did everything right and it just repairs itself automatically, right? And so we're going to see how this goes. The first, and like with any good cooking show, I built half of it already, so that way, it wouldn't take an hour for you guys to watch. And so here's my awesome e-commerce application. And for any of you guys, you can, that can hit this, feel free to put your credit card in here and buy whatever you'd like. It goes straight to my bank account, and nothing will come to your house, which is awesome as well. So with that. So anyway, so let's look at the pipeline real quick, and you see we deployed this from a cloud template, which is our infrastructure as code stuff in VRA. I ran a compliance assessment against this, right? And so then we can easily come in and see. Now I've paused it, in steps throughout this, so we can kind of show like the demo portion of this, but this whole thing could have run without, any stoppage per se, from assessment to remediation and all that. But you'll see here in my web servers, right? I've only got one guy in here that I just deployed a second ago while Chunga was doing introductions. And we've got some vulnerabilities in here as well. We created a policy for this that does about 15 different checks for some compliance irregularities. And you'll see that, we're completely out of compliance for this guy. So while I'm going through here, I'm just going to go ahead and kick off the remediation portion of this. And so you can see again, nobody has to do anything with this, right? So now we're just incorporating into the build processes for anything that we deploy from a machine perspective, this SecOps capability. And I think it's one of the, I can't remember who the name is, maybe Philip, just doing the content for SecOps. He's the man, because I'm telling you, there's so many benchmarks and stuff that you can these guys look at through this remediation. It's incredible. And so we're going through that. We're going through the remediation right now. We're doing all of this again through the API, so it's no no need to really have any coding capability frankly. We're putting a lot of this into the pipeline, so you can just drag it in and drop it. So if you already have SecOps and SaltStack config, you'll just be able to drop this as a task into your pipeline, and then it'll just start running from there, right? And so now I should be able to come back and look at this and see if any of my vulnerabilities are done yet. I am. I'm completely good from both my compliance, and so I'll refresh again here just to see. Vulnerability takes just a bit longer, but it should come back, and look, now all my vulnerabilities are fixed and everything else. So that's the best part about the SecOps side, right? You can totally make this work as a part of your delivery process. The users never have to see anything. Frankly, once your security group sets up the vulnerability and the checks that they want from a compliance perspective, they don't really need to worry about anything either. They can just assume that everything's going to be done. Now, the cool thing about this, and this is where I might screw this whole thing up, is that we also put a reactor and beacon in. So you see my website, it's running. Hopefully you guys are buying a bunch of stuff right now. But what if somebody comes in and then like hacks the website, right? So what are we going to do here? And you know, we're going to give it a sec and see, you know, we've got a hacker, somebody's trying to mess with it. And sure, look at that. I got hacked by that nasty hacker, Tom Hatch. And so I'm not really sure.
I knew it. I knew it.
And it's a total ransomware. So now I'm going to have to go and try to pay him and see. But hopefully this is going to work for me because I was messing with it beforehand. And look, but because of my beacon and reactor, it automatically fixed it for me. And so I'm back to doing business. And you guys can now start paying me some more money through the website. Like I said, if you can access this, please run your credit card. All donations go to me individually. So real quick, shift left, add all your security and vulnerability stuff through pipelines using SecOps and the API, and then, you know, protect yourself from any tragic hackery from Tom Hatch. And that's it.
That's fantastic. Chris McClanahan, everybody. Round of applause for Chris. That was some excellent work there. And, you know, I don't want to listen, I don't want to single anybody out, but our good friend Carl Foltz tried to do a very similar demo in the SecOps session, and it didn't work. So he tried it repeatedly, and all it was Tom's face over and over and over again. So that right there means that Chris should be getting a vote, right? By the way, the voting is now live. If you were to look over by the chat, if you look in the chat section, you'll see a chat tab, polls, people, and Q&A. If you click on the polls tab, you'll see everyone's name there, and you, the attendees of the SaltConf21 Demo Jam, will be voting on who wins the prizes, who is the winner of the 2021 SaltConf Demo Jam. Well done, Chris McClanahan. Any volunteers to go next? No volunteers to go next? Anyone? Anyone? CR Oldham, ladies and gentlemen. Woo-hoo! Going next. There he is.
All right, here we go. So full disclosure, I did record this in advance, but I still have everything up and running. If anybody has questions, I can do some live stuff. And hopefully this will work. All right, here we go.
That looks just like UCR. No sound.
Now we're just watching him watch himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should have sound. Are you playing this through Chrome by any chance?
I bet it's being played through a QuickTime player.
It is. Does that not work?
Well, it's supposed to work, but is there any possible way that you can play it through Chrome? We've had some bugs today with Hop-In, and
okay.
Yeah, if you can play it through Chrome, we may have a better option.
All right. It is QuickTime. Let me
tell you what. Let's go to somebody else. We'll let you.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And we will we'll move on. Anybody want to go while CR's sorting this stuff out? Anybody? Rob. All right, Rob.
All right, let me share. Figure out which one we're sharing on. And you probably can't see that, but we'll post it there anyway. And for this demo, I just have to get it into character a little bit. Like CR, I recorded mine too. However, it had some, just a slight bug that has now since been worked out thanks to my partner in crime on the back end. Speaking of crime, again, we got to get into character here for the demo. Because a heist is about to take place.
Oh, I thought you joined the Crips.
That's right. That's right. So, my demo is about heist, and we're actually going to do this live. So this is a live heist taking place. And when we look at it, the screens you have or see here on screen top left, we're going to run our heist agent, if you will. And we've got our master down below on the left. We have currently a VM that doesn't have any salt on it. You can see out on AWS, here's my master. And we have two VMs that clearly don't show up as minions on my master. So, and if I look at the SSH'd into one of those VMs, and if we take a look and see, there is no salt minion here. So let's go ahead and perform our heist, shall we? So after much shouting out to our demo gods, right? Things are working. And my partner in crime behind the scenes, who will remain nameless, but I'll just say that she is chill when it comes to heist. Okay. So here we go. Heist is in progress. If we go take a look at our salt key, we now have a couple of minions. And if we come back and look on one of our VMs out in AWS, we have a minion running. And inside of our temp directory, we'll see our heist files. This is where they live. And we can now ping our minions. I'm going to pull that down. We can grab our grains and everything here. In fact, there is a minion type grain that we can view and see that it is a heist minion for us. And use case here, right? We might have a brownfield of systems that we want to bring on board. And initially, maybe we want to deploy an application and not leave a footprint on that system. So we can actually here apply a state. I'm going to apply it to just one of my minions. And just so you know, there is traffic on the event bus with the minions, just like you would normally see. I should mention here, I don't think we have. It's already running. Look at that. So our Apache just ran. We can come back here and take a look at our status. We'll pull that just to our singles. So, right, we've just deployed our application, our web server up and running for us. And now we can remove any traces of us being here by simply killing our heist, pulling out. And now, if we look at our temp directory, we have no heist root here. And look at our status. There's no minion. Come back here. All gone from our master.
And I was never here.
That's right. You didn't see anything.
That's you should have been dressed up like James Bond, or maybe
Danny Ocean.
Hey, Danny Ocean, that would work.
There you go.
Absolutely.
The
Yeah, I was
only
gonna say Rob looks kind of like he could hang with Ocean's 11.
Yeah, agreed.
so our Apache server is still running. The only evidence that we were there. So
There you go. Let's hear it
There
for
you
Rob
go.
Robertson.
thanks.
Well done.
Well, Rob, I'm going to call that a looky-loo and a bundle of joy.
Hey, Rob, you
Yeah.
got a couple questions in the chat there. Is there anything in var log or anything in dmessage?
So here, let me show you this. I don't believe so. There might be.
Yeah, there's probably something in the logs. Oh, there might be something in the system logs, but there shouldn't be any salt logs.
So let's go into Salt. Yes.
I think your partner in crime may have just popped up in the chat there, Rob.
Megan.
Maybe a little bit.
Yes, she did.
I think Heist is the coolest name for a computer program ever, especially when you've got a high-level manager explaining to a CIO that you want to install a product called Heist on your infrastructure.
Yes.
At their fiduciary institution, yeah.
Yeah, at a
Yeah,
bank.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So there is a Minion log file here, but it has nothing in it. So
That's what I like to see.
Yeah, there you go.
Were we overly influenced by the nomenclature and trying to exfiltrate without a trace?
that's right. Yes.
Actually, no, in
I-
all honesty, we really don't. It's not a nomenclature thing. The nomenclature exists to try and enforce that we don't want to leave a trace.
Yes.
Because
There is one other piece that does get left behind, and that's in Etsy Salt. Typically, the Etsy Salt directory doesn't exist, but in here you do see a Minion ID file. So
And I got to be honest, I think Pat Moffitt, he should get a whole bunch of votes simply because he was able to put the words nomenclature and exfiltration in one sentence together. Extra points there for Pat.
Yes.
All right, Rob. In the interest of time, are we done, Rob?
Yes.
You're so smart. I don't even know what
Good.
the hell we're doing. I don't even know if we're done. Are we done?
I'm
Okay. All right. Once again, for Rob Robertson, there he is. Remember to go vote in the polling section. There is a poll section right next to the chat. Again, right above the chat comments. Let's try CR again and see if CR has worked out his video issues. We can pop back to him.
All right, here we go. Share. I click the share button.
You are sharing.
There we go. Okay. Good afternoon, SaltConf. I'm CR Oldham. I've been part of SaltStack, now VMware, since 2013. You've probably seen me deliver demos using tiny devices like the ESP8266 and ESP32. I have another one of these today, but with a little twist I will reveal at the end. The point of these demos has been to show that using Salt proxy minions, it's not hard to add devices that can't run a full Linux kernel or some other OS to a Salt-based infrastructure. Salt doesn't see these devices much differently than Minion, and given that Python is very well supported in the IoT space, there are lots of libraries to drive things like temperature and humidity sensors, range detectors, accelerometers, really most of the sensors available on the market. Couple this with the tiny but impressively powerful platforms like the ESP32, you can create fleets of smart devices with sensors cheaply and drive them all with Salt. So here's some specs for the ESP32. It's an extensive dual-core 32-bit LX7 microprocessor, which is not an ARM or an Intel. It's something completely different. It's got quite a few. It has quite a few GPIO pins on it, so lots of I/O available. It also supports Wi-Fi, 802.11bgn at 2.4 gigahertz, Bluetooth LE. If you want to buy one of these, Adafruit makes one. The Huzzah 32, SparkFun makes one. The one we're looking at today is the Hi-Let-Go ESP32. And it runs MicroPython or Lua as the firmware, and they're about $10 at Amazon or $3 at AliExpress. And our goal today is going to be to build a beacon that can communicate temperature, humidity, and device tampering over the event bus. Tampering being kind of a loose term, just meaning, oh, okay, you moved it, so let's flash some kind of an event. And then the master can use a reactor to watch for that event, perform some action. So let me show you what this thing looks like. Here's mine right here. You can see HCSR04 range detector and AM2304 temperature and humidity sensor. And if you move this thing, just get this right. Move this thing. Wait for it, wait for it. There we go. So it's saying, hey, somebody moved me. Oh no. Okay. Now in here, these are all a bunch of terminals. On the left, SaltMaster on the right, Minicom on the bottom. And we can do a test.ping, and that will flash the light. And in fact, we can do a test.ping against all my devices. And it's treated just like any other device. We can list files on it. A tiny file system on it. And we can even drill down in a little bit. Let's look at some lib. Oh yeah, there's PicoWeb. Down here you can see, this is just a Minicom terminal. So if I Control C out of the web server, there's the familiar Python REPL. Say help, and it'll tell us a little bit about the device and how to get attached to the Wi-Fi. And then I can Control D to do a soft reset, and that will restart the device itself. Okay, so we've got a beacon running. It's giving us distance, humidity, movement, and temperature. But the astute among you will realize, so let me show you what we're looking at. Switch to this presentation view. Okay. All right, so here's the pin out, in case you were curious, lots of pins, lots of cool stuff. Okay, and here's how the software is laid out. So the ESP32 is talking over Wi-Fi, and we got a couple of machines in vSphere. I have a vSphere installation here at home. We've got one machine running a Proxy Minion, one machine running a SaltMaster, and we're connected by a VPN and firewall out to the internet and to the cloud. So there's something else going on out here. Let me see if you can pick it up. We pop back to the terminals. And if you look carefully, you'll notice that this machine here that's running the SaltMaster doesn't really appear to be the same thing as this machine. They're probably two different machines. This one's in the 172 range. This one's in the 10 range. In fact, that looks kind of like an Amazon IP or host name. And there's something else see if you caught in the event stream, we've got this extra key master path. So there are two masters involved here. Well, what are they doing? So here's the exciting part that I wanted to show you. We're adding a new transport to Salt. What we're doing here is we've got RabbitMQ in the mix now instead of ZeroMQ, and we're bridging the event bus between these two masters, one in the vSphere and one in AWS. And so what happens is there's an engine that runs on the Salt master that tracks all the events, and it sticks them on the RabbitMQ bus, and then RabbitMQ picks them up and sends them over to this other master. Now that's the bridge version. We're also adding it as a completely supported transport in Salt. So minions themselves can talk to RabbitMQ instead of ZeroMQ. Now, why are we doing that? Well, there's a bunch of reasons. Some of them have to do with the enterprise product. Switch back to, the presentation. But one reason is observability. Now, we've had customers ask us lots of times, how do I know if my event bus is overloaded? How do I know if I'm dropping events? How do I know if I need to add another master and move a bunch of minions over to the new master? So we've got the RabbitMQ management interface here, and you can see there's actually traffic in here. And we've got an exchange, Salt Pub, it's a fan-out exchange. Got a couple of queues, AWS Salt Master, vCenter Salt Master. And so this gives us some powerful observability into how your event bus is working. Why else would we do this? Well, you can add some flexible topologies. You know, if you're familiar with Salt Syndics, this will allow much more flexible topologies even than Syndics. You can use the RabbitMQ Shovel plugin to ship events. You can use RabbitMQ Federation. We also get event bus high availability because Rabbit supports what are called quorum queues nowadays, which are backed by the Raft algorithm. And that means it's a lot harder to get split brain in a high availability scenario. If one RabbitMQ falls over, then the bus doesn't go away. We've had, you can have that issue in a Salt infrastructure where the Salt master will fall over and the event bus is just gone. And then for a while, you're dropping events all over the place. Eventually, we're going to do really exciting things like support minions floating between masters. So all you do to the minion is say, hey, here's the location of the bus. And the minion will come up and attach to the bus, and it will find find any master that's available that's also attached to the bus. This opens up lots of opportunities for high availability. You could have a whole bunch of masters on the bus. You could do load balancing, which is kind of hard with Salt right now. Our planned stable, we're planning to make this stable by the Sulfur release. It may or may not slip another release, we'll see, but that's about 6 months from now. Work is going on. Work is progressing nicely. Daniel Wozniak and Peter Rudy, who I work with, are refactoring the transport layer inside of Salt right now to make it much easier to add other transports, and just RabbitMQ will just be the first one. And that's it. I hope you could hear me. I hear the audio was choppy, so.
Oh no, it was fantastic. The video was a little bit choppy. Shout out to Peter Punk in the chat there. He's like our own little Simon Cowell. He was assessing your presentation, and he wasn't wrong. It was actually quite good there, Peter. Hey, congratulations, CR. That was a great presentation.
Thank you.
For everyone who wants to vote for CR, the polls button is now live, and you can go vote there. Just one quick bit of housekeeping, Tom. I'm assuming you'll be okay with this. This is our last session of SaltConf. The following session after this is a networking hour. We are going to run over. For all of you watching this right now, we're going to run over. I'm just going to let it go. I'm not going to stop this. We'll just let it go long because this is pretty much the swan song of SaltConf21. So hopefully you can all stay in and can present your votes. All right, so we've heard from Rob Robertson, we've heard from CR, Chris McClanahan did a great job. That's 3 really solid demos in a very short amount of time. Do we have any volunteers to go next?
I will go.
Tyler Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's do it.
What I'm going to share, if you've been to any of the talks on Item today, you've heard that there's a describe subcommand, which will go out and look at your, and in this case, we're going to do GitLab. It'll go out and look at everything you have access to in GitLab and create valid present states for the entire cloud. And all I have to do this is run item describe GitLab. Oh no, it didn't work. The reason why it didn't work is because I don't have any states in item GitLab. So real quick, what my demo is actually about is I'm going to create all of those states in GitLab from scratch right now. So another tool that we've created is called Pop Create, and I mentioned it a little bit in my talk earlier today. And we've written plugins for Pop Create that will parse an API, in this case, GitLab's REST API. We'll go out and look at, let me see where we're at here. It looks at every call available that you can make in the REST API. And this actually works really well for item because in GitLab, every post request creates, every put request updates, every delete request deletes. And so it's a very clean API to work with. And we're parsing that API and we're generating present, absent, and described states based on parsing the API. And as you can see here, it's hitting the API this many times. And so we're going to end up creating 68 plus 24 plus 45, 100 or so states from nothing. So it's almost done here. Just a second. Whew. And then there'll be one more paint dry moment. All right, cool. It's done. So now if I run my LS, I now have a whole bunch of states in here. We can look at one of them. Oh, I'm just listing it. So here we have a present state, fully documented what each of the options are, an example of how to write the state for it, an absent state, fully documented, and a described state that will end up creating a valid present state for this particular resource. So now that I've auto-generated all my states, I'm going to run my describe command again, and I'm going to pipe it into a file called gitlab.sls, and that'll take just a minute. And it'll create valid present states for everything that I have the ability to see in GitLab. We have a question there on how the GitLab API. It was, it's this particular REST API that was parsed. And you can look at the code in com/VMware item GitLab. It's in this AutoGen folder. This is where the parsing happens, if you're curious to look at that. Looks like we got another few seconds. And there we go. So now I can open that gitlab.sls file. And here we go. Hundreds of lines of code, valid present states describing my GitLab that I can now use to manage my project. So that's my demo, is showing off item describe and pop create for auto-generating states. That's it.
Well done. Wow. Fantastic.
Yep, that's amazing.
Really, really, really cool. Anyone have any questions for Tyler before we move on? I've got to be honest with you. I didn't realize that CR's, he's got ham hands when he types, apparently. And then I thought that was just Tyler typing really, really fast. So because he doesn't type quite so fast, I don't know if I can give you my vote, Tyler. No, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. Congratulations, Tyler. That was fantastic. So next up, again, the polls are open to vote. It's just the polling button is right there. I know I have to say it a billion times. You should have seen me with the contest and the labs. Am I right, Rob? I have to say it over and over and over. Okay, Philip Calm, you're up next, my brother.
All
You're
right.
up next.
I'd like to say, first of all, that CR isn't a loud typer. He just types with purpose. But anyway, yeah. So last year I did a video with the demo jam, and because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I created another one. Apologize if it doesn't work very well, but we'll see what happens here. So let me. How do I share my screen here? Let's see. Do that one. All right. See what happens here, guys. Tell me if this works.
It looks to me like you're watching a video.
Can you hear the sound?
Yeah, it doesn't know.
Your
In fact,
share is not.
your video
Yeah, you're
share
not
now.
sharing.
I'm not sharing. How do I
No.
share?
If you click the there's a video screen.
Oh, Chrome tab. That's it.
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
there we go. All right, hold on one second. Let me start it over. All right. All right, now can you guys see it?
Now we can see it. Yep.
All right. All right.
Tell me, do you like to play games? It's not funny anymore, is it? See you next year.
All right. So that's the video. Now, what I actually did, because I did do something besides just that, is I actually made a video game out of Salt. Let me try to share that now. Crap. Oh, there it is. That. Okay, so what I did is this is just a video of it, but I made a Python turn-based video game using SaltStack as the backend. So you see the game on the left, you'll see the message bus on the right, and as I go and click through the buttons will then go and go down to the Salt Minion, back up to the master. It's going to be reading from salt states and also from pillar data. So as soon as I click on a button here, you'll see that the message bus will fire. Apparently I was too happy with this. I'm talking too fast compared to what I did. But with the buttons clicking, yep, there it goes. With the buttons clicking, it will load a new screen. You're also seeing the output from the message bus. So basically what's happening is Salt is the decision maker for the game. And it also is randomizing as well. So what it's going to do is as you click through, there's two options for each one of these. For example, on the Fight Your Way Out, this time it didn't work. You didn't stand a chance. You're a goner. But if you did actually continue to click on the button, eventually it's going to randomize and you will get an answer. And see, there you go. You didn't know your own strength, and you did win the fight. You can also see on the right that there is the output of all the different states. You can go back to where you started, to the hallway, and try your luck at different rooms. And again, each one of those is randomized. You'll see eventually there's a there it is right there. There is a randomization that refreshes the pillar data, and so it gives you the different outputs. Here is the just some of the output. You can see. Let me go back a little bit. There's the pillar data that I was talking about. That and you can see this to escape. It gets changed from true to false depending on whether the randomization state, which is this one, sends it the correct information, and that's it. And you get to go back and forth and play a cool little game.
Excellent. Is that it, Philip? Are we good?
Yeah, that's it, man.
Round of applause
That's really
for
cool,
Philip.
man. That's really cool. This is going to be tough. This is going to be really tough.
Yeah, I feel like I should have gone earlier now. Can we restart?
I've seen multiple names, and these names are repeating over and over, saying, "Well, Philip gets my vote." When previously it was, "Well, Tyler gets my vote," and then it was Rob before that, and CR. So it's good. I'm with Tom. I think it's going to be a very hard decision to make, and it's only about to get worse. Who would like to go next? Let's see. We still got Gareth, Pat.
I'm already mic'd up. I'll go.
All right, go for it.
All right, so I'll save you guys some time. I came with contingencies because I know how live demos go. So I'm going to do two things here. The first is I broke my demo earlier during some of the other sessions, and so I will do the live demo. And in true solutions engineer fashion, I will fail at this live demo knowing that it's going to happen, and then I'll fix it, maybe. Okay, maybe not, but possibly. And then at the same time, I will also give you a video that I pre-recorded that does actual useful SALT things that people can really use for real. Now, I'll give a little bit of a preamble, and that is that if you have children that are like my children, half of my time is spent, and besides the part where I do work that I get paid for maybe, I also get constantly asked to buy new games, or because I have the ability to do so, put up game servers for games and things like that. So the live portion of the demo will pertain to automatically retrieving and building a bucket Minecraft server for I will actually leave out the plot squared portion, which is necessary for my children because it divides Minecraft up into little plots, and they can only modify theirs, and they can't destroy each other's work because that turns into an actual physical fight in real life. But what I will do is, let me start this share. The stakes are high, and so let me start, and I'll give you the kind of sorry, there's stacked Oreo in here too. So this is not a VMware hosted server, just so everybody is clear on that. So there is nothing up my sleeve. The Minecraft server, this is Visual Studio Code. By all means, go ahead and talk all you want. I will say that in my defense, I don't really like the fact that it installs Visual Studio Code on my remotes, but its ability to handle SSH remotes and to be able to from the solutions sales engineer perspective, to be able to do things like walk through what my salt state file is doing on one side, and then to be able to execute it on the other side is actually pretty nice. So that's my excuse. So all right, good. I'm glad that you accepted that, because you could have easily just thrown that back in my face. No big deal. All right. So the first thing that we'll note is that there is no server subdirectory in here. It's just there's some other garbage in here. Probably some of this is what I did to break my my thing here. But so in order to do this and to use the plugins that I want, this is the salt formula for Minecraft, Tyler. This is actually also now the salt formula for using Spigot, and we just uncomment plot squared here if we want it back. But anyway, so let's first, the process to do this is not uncomplicated. And so at some point after like the 30th time they want me to rebuild a new server because they are addicted to just starting new worlds, they go, oh, can you reset this again? And so I instead decide to write because it's, a few weeks pass and I forget half the stuff. So I just wrote a salt state and we do this. So we're actually going to retrieve the Spigot Minecraft admin plugin mod thing from where it exists coming out of their Jenkins build. Just as another forward here, I'm not completely wasting your time. This is actually usable stuff. So in your head, just pretend instead of building Minecraft, this is a Apache server, a Node.js fancy website or something like that. So we'll do that. So we'll actually take care of grabbing the actual bucket jar file, and we'll do all those good things. We'll actually run build tools to grab all the stuff down from wherever it sits on the developer site. And then we'll take care of moving that into the place where it should be, and then clearing out all of our build artifacts. So we'll start by doing salt call state.apply. And let's see, I called it Minecraft.bucket. And we'll do this in local because I turned my master off earlier, just because that server is really loud. And right now it's in this room. So while that's going, because this will take a little while. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have put it on. Log level info, but I already ran it, so it's too late. But what I will do is, while that is doing its thing, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to supply you guys in the chat an actually directly usable video in which I demonstrate and narrate a containerized development-oriented workflow that takes a Docker file, builds a container image, does all this stuff, puts the container up, uses it to decode whatever, base 64 or something like this, and then does a quick unit test to validate that that's all good. And then it will, basically do what Salt is supposed to do, output the overall success or failure of that operation. The other thing that it does after that, there's another state that I build in somewhere in there to effectively simulate what happens when somebody contributes bad code to that code base. And so in that case, somebody makes a new Git commit, and yeah, Gareth has to go make his own. I'm sure that, Gareth will actually write his Minecraft formula better and faster. No big deal. So anyway, in this other video, it does actually go through the process of simulating somebody breaking it. And it's actually very well, I think I called it like breakit.sls. And then it goes through the process of once you make that observation that somebody screwed it up, the unit test fails as it should. And then, sorry, I have cat interference. And then there's a separate thing to go back and actually roll back. In my case, it very primitively goes back to the previous header, but then it rebuilds the container, puts it up, and then runs through its unit tests again. So that is what that video does. That's about 9.5 minutes long, and this probably takes about 2 minutes to run through the process. So I figured I'd give you my little spiel. I'd give you the YouTube video. You can save it in your watch later queue. You don't have to use it right now. And just in the interest of time, we'll do the faster, easier thing that results in pretty, well, it's Java and it's Minecraft, but pretty visuals for the purposes of dealing with all of this stuff. So anyway, that was that preamble. This is about to finish probably, unless I broke it even more sometime while I was doing this earlier. But so basically what we're doing is we're taking care of those builds. The next thing that we'll do is I'll now take the time to ad lib and tell you what the actual Minecraft portion of the script does. And here we've parameterized any of the things. So if I need to start an additional Minecraft server, new world, maybe I need to enable PvP in this one so that my children can virtually kill each other instead of trying to do it in real life, then I can actually provide those things. I can update the URL because they have this habit of switching back and forth between the latest snapshot and the newest version or whatever. I can parameterize all of that. And so in that case, I'll take care of making sure the Minecraft user is present, grab the actual server jar from where it's supposed to be, put it in the right place so that Spigot can open it, accept the end user license agreement, go through, populate server properties. I could have gingified this. I probably should have. But so more things that you could parameterize in there, whoever you want to be in the ops list so that they don't run cheats and then use them to, I don't know, destroy each other's cows or something. And then finally, bring in the actual service handler, take care of any of the firewall rules. This is actually starting to seem like it's something that is server oriented. So anyway, yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I should have gone deeper. There's some Jinja in here. I could have made it more confusing, but I wanted this to kind of flow. So, from that perspective, modify firewalls. I also had received requests to make this work with proxy minions, and I actually have another Juniper switch. It's even louder than my server is, and so it also is off right now. But we could have done that and started, doing layer 3 communications, manage routes, and stuff like that. Here's an exceptional amount of work that the bucket server is pretty much throwing up on me right now. So here's everything that it does in terms of building bucket. We'll ignore some of this stuff. We'll just skip past that. Did I just lose you there? Oh, no, that's me. Our fingers on my mouse button there. Okay, so it takes all of that. It makes the directories. It does all the things. It goes and it actually pulls that down. It compiles everything that's required for bucket, which takes forever, and especially when you're watching it. And then finally, it outputs the spigot jar and everything else that you need there. So the next thing that we need to do now that that's present, sorry, let me just really quickly demonstrate what is there. So the Minecraft server directory is here now. So we know that Spigot is present. We can now do the actual Minecraft part. Part of this will break, but part of it will not. And so we can state.apply Minecraft, again, local, because my master is not going to respond to me if I do it that way. And then we'll take care of this. This part should be much faster. It's really just grabbing the server.jar and then throwing it in there, doing some of the other setup in the environment. Yes, I should have written it in pure Python, or I could have JSONified everything. My other proposal to my teammates was to write a lol code renderer and write the entire demo in lol code. Can has tornado. So from that perspective, the Minecraft service is installed, the user is there, all of the other things are parameterized and available for me. The only thing that I think is a problem here is that I broke my systemd handler. So let me just look at status of Minecraft, or I magically, no, I didn't. Okay, so I didn't magically fix it. And so what we're going to do here is we're just going to manually run it, which is super lame, I know. And then we're just going to take this, we're going to user bin Java, and we're going to run this guy just to demonstrate that it still works, even though I broke it. And actually, I don't even need this extra guy down here. And so that'll go, it'll make the world, it'll do all those normal things. So now we can jump into here and to demonstrate that things are working. I could have maybe done you guys the favor of demonstrating that that the server wasn't already running and available to me before that. But again, I didn't want to take too much time. So while it's building the spawn over here, we can jump into this. I spent a little bit of time trying to make sure that that full screen works. And of course, Java is going to curse me here and move it over to the other screen. I'll have to move it over again. So I'll do that in just a second. Let me just make sure that it doesn't take my share away, which is entirely possible. So here we go, full screen on. Looks good, right, everybody? Yeah, all right. Okay, so let's jump into multiplayer. Here we have our SaltConf server. It's actually not up yet, which is a fantastic sign. We see that it's in the process of preparing the spawn area now. I could have taken out building the nether and end dimensions, and it would have been a little faster. But we'll give it just a second, and then we'll be done, and I'll let you guys go on to Gareth or whoever else needs to go.
while this is happening, Philip Calm had to duck out just real quick. He had to go pick up his kids, but still, don't be afraid to vote for him. Just letting everybody know and helping Pat stall.
Please do vote for him because, again, his production value always way off the charts. So anyway, I'm here and now I can do any of my Minecraft things. I can tell my kids, hey, this server is available to you now. Please stop hitting each other in real life and instead do it over here where you can't actually hurt each other. Oh, there's copper over there. Nice. All right. That's a problem for a different time. Thank you. Please do also, if you want to do real useful containerized things, go back to the other YouTube link that I've pasted above. If you don't see it, get a hold of me. I have any number of other consumable things as well. Thank you.
Patrick Moffitt, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Very impressive. Very impressive. Well done. All right. Well, this is the next up is the very first guy I asked to be part of the demo jam. He was the very first guy I asked. If you have not seen his Raspberry Pi array, it's something that should be in a museum. It's something that he's displayed at past SaltConfs and is very impressive indeed. And I have no reason to believe that his demo is going to be any less. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Gareth Greenway.
All right, thank you, Chunga. I would just like to say the term asked to be part of the demo is used very loosely. I was essentially told I was being part of the demo.
But you want to, Gareth.
But
right?
I wanted to,
right?
yes. Aggressive voluntold.
Yeah.
All right, so one of the things I kind of struggled trying to come up with something to demo because there's so much cool stuff that you can do with Salt, and I was trying to narrow it down to something. And I also wanted to come up with something completely and totally ridiculous that no one would or should ever do. And I also wanted to highlight the work I did that went into the Silicon release around the Delta Proxy project. So one of the things Jimmy Chunga actually mentioned the Kubernetes cluster I built. Unfortunately, I'm not using it for this demo because it's a little sluggish doing certain things that I wanted to do. So this is actually we'll be using a Kubernetes cluster in EC2. So I have created let's actually get nodes. Oops, permissions. A 5-node cluster in EC2. One is I have one that's the control node and the salt master, which is the one with the different name, and then there's five minions running, and they're all running 3004 version of Salt. So I used Salt to create some pods, just using the deployment present function. So there's 40 of them. They are running Ubuntu, and I have a supervisor running on all of them. So it was this point where I realized, okay, I have used Salt to create a Kubernetes cluster. That's not like a super interesting demo. And so I was looking around the code base of like, how do I make this really interesting? How do I tie this into Delta Proxy? And I realized that we have a Docker proxy minion. And so what the Docker proxy minion lets you do is connect it to a running Docker container and kind of interact with it and do stuff as if it's a regular machine, where it's not. And you should never do this. I want to be perfectly clear. You should never do this. Absolutely do not do this. But I have created a Delta Proxy deployment that connects to my Kubernetes cluster here and connects to each and every single one of these Docker containers and it interacts with them. So one of the challenges I ran into is if we do a kube list, nope, can't pods. Whoops, permissions, man. We can see that these are, so this is all of the 40 different containers that I have running in my Kubernetes deployment. And they're all across a variety of machines, and all of the machines are running across the cluster. It's just 5-node cluster. But I needed a way to know, okay, which pod is running on which machine. So the way that the proxy minions work is all the information is stored in pillar data, and all that pillar data is stored on the master. So what I did was, actually, let's go back there. Using the salt mine, for all of my salt minions, I pushed out a mine function, and I had to modify the Docker module slightly because currently it does not let you do a filter when you're listing the containers. But you can run this against like I can run this against all of the minions, and I can see a list of Docker containers that are running on all of the minions. And so adding in this change, I added the filter that lets me filter down just those containers that I want to treat as minions or Delta proxy minions. So pushing this out to all of my EC2 instances and then updating the mine, this gets pulled into the salt mine, which is useful. So now within my proxy minions, I have all these files. So I have I'm running 5 versions or 5 instances of Delta Proxy on all of the EC2 instances. And using some Jinja, which I will point out, Patrick did not use any Jinja. I'm using Jinja to gather up all of the Docker containers that are running on my minions. So in this case, it's minion 1. The function is Docker containers, and I'm populating just a list of what proxy minions or what Docker containers should be targeted by for this particular Delta proxy. So just switching over. So on all of my, I'm running this manually just because I was debugging stuff. But these are all of my salt minions. And so they're all running an instance of Delta proxy with their particular proxy ID. So now that I have that, and I have like auto sign keys on and all that stuff. So I don't have to go through and auto sign like 100 something different keys. So now I can, oops. These are all of the Docker containers that are running inside the Kubernetes cluster that can be targeted as if they are just regular salt minions. And because it's running Docker, so this runs very similar to the way the non-heist version of Salt SSH does, where it gathers up the Salt installation, creates a thin tar file, copies it out to the Docker container, starts up Salt, and then runs the particular command that you want to run. So these are all of the Docker containers that are responding to a test.ping. And because they're just running Ubuntu, I can do other stuff that Salt is supported. So I can get like a package list. And again, because it's Docker and it's doing all the thing, it's going to take a little while. But if we switch over, we can actually see everything that it's doing against all of those containers. And eventually it will respond. Oh, we got an error. Oh no. Oh, because I typed it wrong. Let's try that again. One of the unfortunate things about being someone that works on the Salt project is I don't actually get to use Salt on a regular basis, so I forget the commands many times. Okay, so these are all of the packages that are installed in all of those Ubuntu Docker containers. And if I wanted to, I could install additional packages, I could remove packages, but again, these are Docker containers and we're not supposed to do that, so we won't. So I thought like this is pretty good. This is pretty good, a pretty good demo so far. But I was talking with, I was talking to Patrick yesterday and Dave Boucher, one of our other engineers, and I was kind of grappling with like, how far should I take this? How crazy should I get here? And I think Dave and Patrick both gave me the same advice, like go as far as you can, just go crazy, just go nuts. And so I thought like, well, I have Delta Proxy running on my EC2 instances, and I can interact with these Docker containers as if they are regular minions. I could run Delta Proxy in all of these Docker containers and target additional devices. So I didn't have a chance to like create additional devices. So I'm just using the dummy proxy module. So all it does is it just spins up a dummy proxy or dummy instance, and appears as if like a regular minion. So using additional where am I? States. I wanted to install Salt in all of these Docker containers. So they're running Ubuntu, they're running in my Kubernetes cluster. So I put together this list, this just basic state file that runs through, installs Salt, just basic stuff, adds Salt to the host file, creates the proxy config. So in order to run Delta Proxy, you need to specify meta proxy as Delta Proxy. I needed to know the instance where, or the Docker container where the Salt proxy, Delta Proxy was going to be running. So I needed to set a grain in each of those containers. So I just called it proxy host, and it's the host name of the machine. And then I wanted to be able to run it automatically. So then I used supervisor D and just created a supervisor D file, started up supervisor D, and that in turn started the Salt proxy on all of those Docker containers. So now I can, oops, target all of those running Salt proxies that are running inside those Docker containers that are running in my Kubernetes cluster on the EC2 instances. And Docker or proxy minions work exactly the same as minions for the most part. Like some little things don't work, but you can set grains. So for a lot of these, I have set, depending on what the instance is, I've set if it's got an even number in there, I set it as even. If it's odd, I set it as odd. You can do like stuff with the scheduler. You can do all sorts of stuff. And so one of the last things I wanted to show was how that they are possible to work with the new addition to the Silicon release, which is Salt extensions. So I installed on each of these just a little Salt extension I wrote called Magic 8 Ball. And so what Magic 8 Ball will do is just like a Magic 8 Ball, you shake it and it gives you a message of I don't know, a variety of messages. And so targeting all of these dummy proxy minions, I can get back messages depending on what the Magic 8 Ball determines and the result of true or false. And that is all I have. Thank you.
I like how he says, "That's all I have." Well done, Gareth Greenway.
Impressive. Most impressive.
Yeah, and then I think he did a mic drop because I think he's gone. I think he was like, "That's all I have. Peace." And then he was out that fast. So he's trying to get back in.
And he was like, "No questions, please."
Yeah.
That probably wasn't on purpose.
We thought you did a mic drop, and you're like, "That's all I have."
Yeah, I totally did.
Out.
I didn't mean to do that. I hit the wrong button.
All right. Well, listen, we're running long. Before I want to give everyone a chance to hurry and vote for their polls. Just again, it's the little right above the chat. You have chat polls, people Q&A. Hit the poll button and vote for your demo that you feel was the best. Look, CR is really working it. CR is really working it there. Rob is working it. Wow, it's like America's Got Talent going in here. Yeah, Tom's working it. Wow. And while you're all voting, I want to take just a real quick minute and say thanks to all of these guys. This is a tremendous amount of work that every one of these men have put into this. Very, very grateful to all of you for doing it. Thank you. Also want to say thank you to all of our moderators. Some of them are here, Pat, for example, you moderated like 15 different sessions. It was amazing. And I would be a fool not to say a very sincere thank you to Thomas Hatch, who did a lot of presentations. I applaud you, sir. You did great. We've got one tired innovator right there.
He actually spoke in multiple sessions at the same time.
Yes.
That happened
Yes,
once.
yes, he did. I can't thank you guys enough. There's a lot of guys that are in the chat. Wayne Warner for a bunch of fantastic presentations. Hans did a great presentation. Jeff Blair, again, another fantastic year with Jeff Blair as a moderator. Thanks to all of you. I could spend easily another hour saying thank you to everyone. Shout out to Kendall Lovett, who's back off paternity leave. Good to see you in the chat, my friend. Thanks to all of you who chose to come out and be a part of this awesome motley community that we have here called the SALT Project. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull up the poll function, show results. And the winner is, I don't know if you can see this, if you hit your poll, the winner is, ladies and gentlemen, CR Oldham is the winner of this year's SaltConf21 Demo Jam. Well done, sir. Thank you very, very much. I'm just putting all of you on notice right now. You've all got to come back next year and do another demo. I'm volunteering you right now, Gareth. You're already on the hook. Listen, there's still some time left in the networking hours if you want to jump over there and extend your sphere of influence and earn a great many new friends, to use a Hatchism. Hop over there and do that. But aside from the networking hours, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this SaltConf. So again, a huge thank you to all of you who showed up. If your gift boxes and T-shirts, etc., have not shown up, they are all on the way. If you've not received them yet. So please know that they're all on the way, and I couldn't be more grateful for you guys showing up. Thanks again, everybody. Congratulations, CR. And we will see you at SaltConf 22. Thanks, friends.
Woo. Yep. This will happen next year.
Absolutely, for sure.
In person, right?
That'll be nice if we can pull that off.
I mean, yeah.
No, listen, I'm jumping back in. Tyler, it's too soon. It's too soon to even talk about it. We need to rest for like a month.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't want to look at anything SaltConf for many moons.
That's right. Thanks again, friends. See ya.
Bye.